You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Arya Whitner, and this is your NXT/CWC audio report for Wednesday, August 17, 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a stinker of an NXT episode this week. The show went 48 minutes, and the first 45 minutes of it were the most useless show NXT has had since that one the week after Dallas, where all he did was show highlights of what happened in Dallas, and then that awful dark match with Apollo Crews. But let's get on to the show, I guess, then, shall we? Show kicked off. Hideo Itami versus Mustafa Ali of the CWC. Yes, we kick things off with this match between two people who are not going to be on NXT TakeOver this Saturday. Itami won with a running knee strike. The story of this match, in fact all of Itami's matches, have basically been just to reintroduce him to the WWE Universe, some of whom may not remember Itami since he's been gone for so long. At one point, Itami did a baseball slide, and when Ali landed outside the ring, he slammed his hand on the mat. And Itami made his comeback after Ali slapped him in the yap. Up next was a Bobby Roode video package, most notable, by the way, for TNA invading WWE, kind of. They showed several TNA still photos. They didn't mention that it was TNA. They didn't show a TNA logo. And in fact, if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't have known it was TNA, except it was. They're showing Bobby Roode in Team Canada, complete with Scott D'Amore standing in the background, holding that Canadian flag that he had on a hockey stick. We then got a quote-unquote exclusive preview of Asuka versus Bayley. Does anyone else find it funny when everything gets referred to as an exclusive in WWE? It implies that there are hundreds of news sources all trying to get this story, all trying to do a video package based on this Asuka versus Bayley match, but only the WWE production crew were able to get this amazing, one-of-a-kind exclusive story. Rant over. This was a very good video package, showing the downswing of Bayley in a post-TakeOver Dallas world, and how cocky Asuka has become at the same time. We then went from one video package to another, as we get a music video building up the three undercard matches: Bobby Roode versus Andrade Cien Almas, The Revival versus Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and Austin Aries versus No Way Jose, and actually they spent a good part of it talking about how special New York City is. William Regal was backstage talking to the camera about how great NXT TakeOver Brooklyn will be when Billie Kay walked in and demanded a match on the show. Mr. Regal put her in a match with Ember Moon, and she seemed to approve of this. Oh God, then we got a match. That they build this as the future of the NXT Women's Division, and the problem is, if this is the future of the NXT Women's Division, man oh man, Maddie, do I feel bad about the NXT Women's Division in the future. Carmella teamed with Liv Morgan and Nikki Glencross to take on Alexa Bliss and former Tough Enough contestants Mandy Rose and Daria Baronato. This match sucked. Glencross, by the way, is the former Nikki Storm. And I should point out that we've now had three Tough Enough losers on the show, including Patrick Clark last week, while neither Tough Enough winner has been on NXT yet. Daria came to the ring dressed like an MMA fighter, complete with the gloves, and as soon as she tagged in to start her part of the match, she then took the time to take off of her gloves and throw them up the aisle. I'm convinced something really bad must have happened with Daria and Nikki as they went to lock up with one another, and we immediately cut to an awkward commercial break, and then when we came back, Liv Morgan was now in the ring holding Daria in a chin lock. Corey Graves showed why I hate him as an announcer. I know everyone's got a problem with Byron Saxton, and everyone's got a problem with David Otunga, and they got a problem with Michael Cole. Tell you what, Corey Graves makes me beg for more Michael Cole. That's all I'm saying. He is so obnoxious. And now that Eva Marie's not on NXT anymore, he's taken the obnoxious over-the-top screaming about how hot Eva Marie is and moved it over to Mandy Rose, who is pretty. So she's, we must fawn all over her. I want to point out, Liv Morgan in this match made me appreciate her skill more by what she didn't do than what she did, because she was decent and held the match together in the ring, and as soon as she tagged back out to Carmella, and was Carmella in the ring with the three heels, this match blew. And the highlight of this match, by the way, would be Daria and Liv sitting in a very long chin lock. And when that's the highlight, we had some lowlights. William Regal was in a room and told Samoa Joe that he did not want the main event interview segment to break down into a free-for-all. And we got another video package for Ember Moon saying that the prophecy says that she's debuting Saturday night. I don't know about no prophecy, but we did have that little skit earlier in the show. Anyway, we end the show with an exclusive, there's that word again, interview where Byron Saxton sat down with Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura. After 45 minutes of total crap on the show, we finally got 3 good minutes. And Samoa Joe, in these 3 minutes, he brought up literally everything that I've mentioned for the past month or two, including, Samoa Joe became the first person other than me to point out that when Bayley asked for a title shot, Mr. Regal then went and asked Asuka if it was okay. It wasn't like when Mr. Regal informed Samoa Joe of his title shot and then threatened to strip him of the title if he didn't agree to it. Joe did most of the talking here, with Nakamura almost mocking everything Joe said. Finally, Joe flipped out and said he's going to beat respect into Nakamura as security pulled Joe away. So that did it for NXT. Watch TakeOver Saturday, but skip this show. Good God, skip this show. Cruiserweight Classic. I should point out last week, I did eventually watch last week's CWC. Kota Ibushi and Cedric Alexander was really great, but I'll still stand by and say that Okada versus Ishii from the G1 was better. Akira Tozawa versus Jack Gallagher. Gallagher, I want to point out, is still not teaming up with Simon Gotch. He still should be. Tozawa was popular, but not as much as Gallagher. Gallagher, he does his gimmick very well, and he's also a really good, he's a good worker. He works very slowly, but it's a crisp slowness, so it's not like he's in his first match and going slowly through the moves. He's very good at what he does. At one point, he used an Indian Deathlock and kept turning his body as Tozawa kept trying to reach around to get at him. In the fakest move of the night, Gallagher tied Tozawa up, and Tozawa got quote-unquote stuck in position. And it was one of those things that I imagine, maybe I'm wrong, but I imagine Jim Cornette watching this show, he would have turned it off. Lou Thesz is probably, not watching this up in heaven. That was one of those moves that just like wrestling is fake when you watch that, And please, if you have any complaints with me saying fake, tell somebody else. I really don't care. Anyway, eventually Tozawa made his comeback. Gallagher tried to block it, but eventually got pinned with Tozawa's delayed bridging German suplex, and now Tozawa will face Grand Metalik in the quarterfinals. Noam Dar versus Ho-Ho Loon. Dar looked really good here, and Loon looked better than he did against Arya Davari. The match, was good, but didn't, wasn't off the charts or anything like that. The fans entertained themselves by chanting Dar to the theme from Star Wars. Dar worked the knee of Loon. Not sure if this was on purpose or just one of those happy accidents that happen. But at one point, Ho-Ho Loon was on the apron. Noam Dar gave him a basement drop kick to one knee, and when he fell off of the apron, Loon smashed his other knee onto the ring apron. And so Dar worked on his knee the entire match, and eventually submitted him with a knee bar of all things. Go figure. Main event time. The Brian Kendrick versus the Tony Nese. Kendrick tried to get up to a hot start, but he got kicked very hard in the head. Nese was on him at the start like white on bread. I said white on bread. It should be white on rice. What the heck am I smoking there? Anyway, everything Kendrick tried, Nese had a counter for, and this was not the best start to Brian Kendrick's night here. Kendrick did catch a lucky break at one point when Tony Nese somehow got his hand stuck in the turnbuckle pad. And I should point out that it was a lot more believable than what Gallagher and Tozawa did earlier in the show. Nese used the Fosbury flop, which got the crowd chanting for him. Kendrick kicked out of a turnbuckle running powerbomb. I should point out that they would not stop talking about the time limit in this match, I want to think Mauro Ranallo and Daniel Bryan mentioned the time limit in this match more than Kevin Kelly called about the time limit the entire next to last G1 show with Tanahashi and Okada. Finally, Nese missed a 450 splash, and Kendrick won with the bully choke in a match that didn't really go that close to the time limit, which made you wonder why the announcers were, freaking out over it. So anyway, that does it for another fine week of wrestling action. Big weekend up ahead. TakeOver Saturday, SummerSlam Sunday. We'll see if they try to do like a really good, memorable Raw like they tried to do last year on Monday. But, who knows. But for now, I want to thank everyone for listening, and I'll talk to you again next Wednesday.